Hi, what's going on? Like, I was laying in bed, not sure if I would even do a live stream, and then I was like, you know what? I guess I will, because I gotta talk about this Twitter outrage. Like, if anyone doesn't understand, Twitter has made another decision that is causing minds to explode. This time, it's universal. It's not just liberals that are like pooping on the ground and rolling around in it, crying like little babies. No, it's also some conservatives, which is really funny to me. Meemaw's Homestead, I saw your comment. Can you send me a DM on Twitter and I'll message you after the show because I do have questions. But one of the things that's kind of interesting. So long story short, if you use Twitter, and if you don't use Twitter, that you're not going to like the show because I'm only going to be talking about Twitter for this. But if you use Twitter, and today you were trying to use Twitter, you probably saw at different points or different parts of the day, it said like your Twitter limit reached or some shit like that. I don't know, because it didn't happen to me. And I don't really know what all the hubbub's about, to be completely honest. So I'm not going to try to get into all the scientific stuff, but apparently Elon Musk made a decision today that he was going to limit how many tweets you could see. So if you didn't have a subscriber account, you're able to see 600 tweets before it like timed out and made you reset a little bit. And if you were a subscriber, then it stopped at like 6,000 or 8,000. And now it's been up to 10,000. Now, the reason he said he did this was because of data scrubbing. So apparently a ton of bots and different AI and all sorts of technology are basically going and taking all of the data from Twitter and downloading that data, okay, which they could use for a bunch of different reasons. It could be nefarious. It could be, it could be the government spying on every single American citizen or worldwide citizen. It could be a whole bunch of things, right? So in his effort to combat it, and this is not new, this is something a lot of big tech companies have done, because Twitter on the front end, separate, like if you think about Facebook, right? Facebook, you can't really see every profile unless you're logged in, unless you have an account. They can verify who you are. And even though they still have bots and fake accounts on Facebook, they're pretty quick to get rid of them for the most part, right? Twitter's not it's open from the public. So you can look at the Twitter accounts without ever being logged in, without seeing it. And so what these computer guys are doing is they're going in and they're using these data scrapers they're essentially computer programs that pull every bit of every tweet that's sent, and they could do it by keywords, they could do it by user, they could do it everything. And they scrape everything. And so then they have it, and they can use them to target audiences. They can use them to do a bunch of different things. But what it does on the back end of a software system, imagine like a DDoS attack, right? You've heard of those, where a tremendous amount of traffic goes to a website. It uses up all the resources for the website crashes. That's essentially what's happening. It's using up all this bandwidth that Twitter has, and which is causing Twitter to be buggy and laggy. So what they wanted to do was find a way, and this is at least my perception of how it works. What they wanted to do is they wanted to go in there and limit the ability of tweets to stop the data scrapers, the people that are coming in, and instead of downloading 600 tweets in 5 or 6 minutes, they're downloading 600 tweets every millisecond, because that's what they're doing, which obviously uses a tremendous amount of bandwidth. What's interesting is he then said, well, and this is my rationale and what I think was probably happening, right? And I'm not a tech guy at all, but this is what I believe was happening. He knew that limiting that while they build up whatever they're doing on the back end would cause problems with the people that pay for the subscriptions already, right? So he increased that level to 800 or 8,000, I think it was to start, or 6,000, and then it went to 8,000. Now it's 10,000. And basically meaning, so like, for example, like, let's watch, go over to Twitter, or you don't have to, I'll show you. So essentially, let me make sure it's not bad videos. Like, for example, this is considered a read. Boom, me scrolling by it. Boom, me scrolling by it. Boom, me scrolling by it. Boom, me scroll. So these are all reads. What the computer systems, the data scrapers, they're essentially doing this. You can't even see them all, because especially with the sound effects. That's what they're doing. They're downloading all of the information right away. So what he did is he goes in there, because people are paying for it, he figured that, okay, we'll put it at 6,000 for the people that are members so they can scroll and they can see, and you probably wouldn't time out. Well, guess what? Everybody is up in arms about this. Everybody is talking about how it's Twitter point. What did I put for the video? This is like Twitter freakout number 12945185101, because it just seems like every day there's some new conspiracy. Usually it's funded and fueled by the left, but this time it's different because a lot of people on the right, including a lot of people I follow, are completely losing their minds over this. And I understand why, because it impacts the engagement. For example, say I was much more popular, right? And I had, instead of how many followers do I have on Twitter, I think I have 18,600. So instead of me having 18,600, pretend that was 1.8 million, right? And so in my business, especially in the news business, I try to get out news. So imagine if I had a much bigger audience, which I should have 8 million subscribers by now, or 1 million, because I'm pretty fucking awesome. But I mean, that's a conversation for another day. What they're upset about is they've worried that the people that aren't users are going to scroll through all their things, use up their available reads, and then they're not going to see what they tweeted out. So it's causing this weird outrage by people. And I jumped in one space because I saw Roz alerts in a space, and I'm like, you know what? I'll jump in this space and see what they're doing. And I listened to these whiny babies, not Roz alerts himself, but a bunch of these other crybaby whine ass pieces of garbage that sat there for hours, literally hours, complaining about Elon Musk and the decisions that he's making with their business, and saying he's probably suffering from mental diagnoses and all this weird stuff, talking about how he's going to kill his platform. And these are people, what's surprisingly, I guess it's unsurprisingly, these are people that are using the service for free. Okay, so I'm a capitalist, right? Many of you guys know that. I've got the coffee company. Everything I do, I try to monetize so that way I can make money, because that's what a capitalist does, right? So I believe Elon Musk paid $400 billion or $40 billion for a platform because he expected he could make money. I don't think it was charity. I don't think he bought Twitter so that way he could just truly make it a town square and he wasn't going to make any money off of it. No, I believe he bought it because he wanted to make money off of it. And there's been a lot of changes and a lot of lays off and things like that. And then he makes this, Twitter Blue subscription so people could go and get verified. And this is probably what happened. And I'm speaking out my ass here, but I'm probably right. So then what's he do? He starts Twitter Blue. He has to raise the price to eat that Apple fee, right? So he raises it from $8 to $11, and several people were pissed off, and they're like, "Oh, he's just trying to make money," blah blah blah. Most of the people that are complaining, which is really weird, like Steve Lookner, whatever his name is, they apparently, and I didn't watch his videos, but apparently he's like completely losing his shit over this, and saying, well, it's me. He doesn't pay for the fucking platform. He doesn't pay for it. And he's talking about how, oh, this is a big, encroachment on my rights and so much for free speech and blah, 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 blah. Pay for the platform. You won't time out. I've been on here all day long and I'm not timed out, and I haven't been timed out all day. But I don't understand. I don't understand why so many people are so upset that a guy is trying to do something which actually protects us. Right? Because you already know why he's doing it. He already said it. It's because of the data scrapers, and they have to find a way to get it under control. What they all say is, well, that can't be what it is. He's probably just moving servers or something. Okay, so you're assuming that the information he's telling you is a lie, right? Even though it wasn't the best timing and all that stuff to do it, but he needed to do something to stop all these rogue entities or countries from stealing data. We talk about in the White House how it's super duper important, right? To protect your data online, right? They don't care about protecting your data online. All of those people that are going out there advocating for protecting data online, they don't care if they're fighting back against Elon Musk trying to protect your data online. Do you know what I mean? Someone said, pay Twitter Blue so I can get promoted tweets. Why? You don't need to. That's the beauty of it. It's just like if, say, you choose to go to a web designer and then you get all butthurt because they don't want to make you a website. You don't need to go to that web designer. You can go to any other web designer. You know, my wife and I, we had a conversation, many conversations about that today, about that whole Supreme Court case, because she has a disagreement, a fundamental disagreement, which I don't understand, but I think it's interesting, nonetheless. And it's a really good. There's a term for it, and a litmus test, right? That's I almost just yelled litmus test because I was trying to think. You could talk about that case, that Supreme Court case, the recent one with the religious web designer 303 whatever 303 systems, the religious web designer and the gay married couple that wants to have a wedding page. You can talk about that case, and based on the information, you can have a litmus test on whether someone is a constitutionalist and whether someone cares about the right to make individual choices or they don't. You know, my wife is on the latter. She doesn't believe a business or an individual has the right to make a determination because she believes that right is trumped by someone's right to go and shop wherever they want, which doesn't make any sense. Like, if you think about it, you know, when it comes to something that's a protected class, but religion for some reason doesn't fit into that protected class, which that whole argument, trust me, we've literally spent about 4 hours today talking about it. Because, and I'm being respectful, we take breaks and then we go and look at it and then we talk about it again. Because I'm like, wait a second, babe, this doesn't make any sense. Because I'm like, listen, if someone wanted me to personalize these coffee cans and it was like Biden is the best president ever, I would have the right to refuse that, right? And she's like, yes, because it's not based on religious stuff. So we came into a bunch of religious examples and she's like, no, you wouldn't have the right to do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's a good litmus test to see what side of the political aisle you're on. This, with Elon Musk, it's a very good litmus test to see what side of free speech you're on. Because if you believe that Elon Musk trying to protect your speech is an infringement of your speech, then what side of the aisle are you on? Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, what side of the aisle are you on? Because he has already said he's doing it to stop people from stealing your information and then putting it out there widespread. And you can make an argument and say, well, it's already a public platform, so I know the information is out there. But, you know, something Victory said, Elon's excuse is weak. People defending him while paying him are even weaker, though. Didn't take this as an Elon coldest podcast, but surprised before. I've never seen your name in my chat, so this is probably the first time you've watched, but that's cool. If it is, congratulations. You know, you just proved that you're an idiot. It's not what I believe. and to be honest, I didn't want to get stopped at 600 tweets, so I resubscribed at Twitter Blue. I'll be honest. And it didn't happen to me, but I figured, what the hell? Because I also firmly believe that a business should be able to put it, whatever. If Elon Musk wanted to lock this whole thing up and charge you a day to be able to access it, $1 a day, I would be for that. Would I pay for it? Fuck no. But I would be for that 100%. You know why? Because it's his right as a business owner. It's like all these boneheads that are putting up these signs saying, because of the Supreme Court ruling, I'm no longer going to serve MAGAs or Trump supporters in my restaurant. Good. Now you're on the same side as we are, that you have the right to refuse service to whoever for whatever reason. That is your right. And I believe that's an unfettered right. You should be able, in someone else's business or in my business, I should be able to refuse whoever I want coming in there. And a lot of people disagree with that. You know, and so I don't understand. Like, all these people are, you know, chalking it up like a big win. Like I tweeted that out earlier today, and I was really surprised that so many people were tweeting it out like it was a win. There was this sign that was posted on social media. Here, hold on. This sign posted on social media. Since the Supreme Court has ruled that businesses can discriminate, no sales to Trump supporters. We only sell to churches that fly the pride flag. I have absolutely no problem with that at all. Does anybody have a problem with that? Because I can tell you what you're not. You're not pro First Amendment. Freedom of expression is a First Amendment. Expression is through those means of serving food or serving services. I don't know why so many people care about it. I really don't know. You know what I mean? The whole Supreme Court case wasn't based on whether or not someone has the right. It was based on whether or not you could force someone to do something that they fundamentally disagree with, regardless of what it is. You don't have that right. And here's the truth, and I even said this. I believe if you took away the creative aspect, the expression aspect of it, and say it was a coffee bar, right? A coffee bar and a gay couple, and the coffee bar refused the right of the gay person, the Supreme Court case would have went the other way. 100%. I believe that. But I believe what they did is they did that litmus test or whatever that judicial scale is, right? So they said, okay, religion and gay, both protected classes, those are out. What's next? Oh, First Amendment, freedom of expression, creative, their words are literally their coders. So their language is literally in the website. And that's why that one won. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. I don't believe if it wasn't a service and they didn't have some other thing to fall back on, I believe they would have sided with the gay couple there. That's my belief. And I could understand the argument, but I don't agree with it. But I understand that argument, because how do you determine which one trumps it? To me, the person who's coming into a business loses, because the business owner gets to make a determination on who he serves and for what reason. That's my belief. It's the same thing with Elon Musk. He can make whatever decision he wants to go on his platform. If he wanted to put rainbow flags all over the background, would I use the software? Probably not, because of who I am and what I stand for and believe. But would I pass judgment on anybody else for using the service? Just like every person with the blue check marks, everyone gets so upset that someone pays for Twitter Blue. Who cares? Do you believe in the right for me to express myself in whatever way? If you truly consider yourself to be American, that's what the American idea is. But for some reason, so many people don't. They don't agree with it. They don't believe in it. And yet they go out and try to say that you have to. That you have to, follow in a certain set of standards. And the reason I'm saying it in that regard, because there's so many people on the conservative side that are tweeting out like, this hurts us. This hurts us. You're encroaching on my First Amendment. You're using someone else's platform. Twitter is a private thing. It's not yours. That's why they could ban you. You sign those terms and conditions the second you sign up for an account. You know what I mean? That's why I don't understand. Someone said, can an employee of a private company really refuse customers? I don't know what you mean. But can a private company refuse customers? Yes. To a certain extent. I don't believe it's legal if a gay couple just comes in for you to kick out that couple, and nor do I think that's right either. But then again, you can kick people out if they're not wearing a shirt. You could tell them to leave, and they have to leave your property. It kind of goes back to like the COVID thing again. Remember, we talked the other day about that lady that walked into the Bank of America in Texas. She refused to put on a mask because the county had gotten rid of the mask mandates, but the bank itself still had the mask mandates that were set from the corporate office. So the bank told her to put on a mask or just go through the drive-through. She refused. She refused to leave. The cops came. She refused to leave or put on a mask. And so she was arrested. And she actually broke her collarbone because she fought with police. I sided with the bank in that regard because I believe a bank has a right to refuse service. You either adhere to our guidelines, or if you don't want to, fine, leave. That's it. The bank was nice enough to say, hey, if you don't want to put on a mask, just go through the drive-through. You already got a car. That's how you got here. Go through the drive-through. But that's the difference. A lot of people look at it as the mask as some sort of violation of their expression. And I get that argument. Like, you can't see what facial expressions they're making. But a business has the right to make determinations on who and what they serve, right? It would be, and I try to use the example, like, say you walked into a place, right? And the caveat is someone said, does a Christian baker have to bake a cake for a gay wedding? I don't believe. Didn't the Supreme Court rule the baker did not have to bake that cake? Because it was, and again, it didn't come down to just religion over sexual orientation. No, it came down to, okay, those kind of cancel each other out. So then you have another level. The next level that you have is the creative, like, for example, I said with these coffees, I was really going with my wife, trying to figure it out. And I said, with these coffees, and granted, I'm not an artist, but this is my creation. These labels are my creation. It's my artistry. It's my business. It's everything. If I have the right to not make labels, right? So if for whatever reason, if I decide, like, for example, I said, if someone came and said, Steve, I want to buy 10,000 things of coffee, but I wanted to say Black Lives Matter, right? And I said, I have the right to refuse to do that. Not because I don't believe Black Lives Matter. No, I believe Black Lives Matter. But that logo itself, to me, is a terrorist organization. So I would not do that. And I know I'd probably get sued by my investors for not doing it. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Stand for your principles. But I wouldn't do it. And she's like, oh, you would have a right to do it because you personally would feel at that point that it's dangerous. And your view is that they're a terrorist organization. And so you would have the right to refuse that service. And I'm like, what? Because you believe I have the right to refuse there, but you don't believe I have the right if I have a deeply held religious belief and someone else goes against that religious belief. But I firmly believe the reason why the Supreme Court ruled on that is because of the underlying language, the First Amendment violation that would have taken place had the state of Colorado actually prevailed and forced that website designer to make that case or to make that website. That's my belief. And so it's interesting. Someone said, well, I don't want to go to a business that's discriminating against any person that didn't cause any trouble as long as people don't push their beliefs. Yeah. Yeah. And it's different because, if a couple, say a gay marriage couple, right, called me and said, Steve, can you make coffee that says congratulations on your wedding, John and Jim? Would I do it? Probably, because it doesn't offend me. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't go against any religious beliefs because my religious belief is it's not for me to judge. It's for God. And he has to judge. When they try to go up through those pearly gates, that's when they're going to reach their judgment. It's not mine to judge. But a lot of people believe it is their role to judge those people for that reason. I don't believe it is. I already said what I would do if I was that website designer. I would have designed them the worst, like say I did hold that deeply held belief and I decided that I wasn't going to make custom labels for that customer. That would also be my right. And I would defend that right to do it. I personally just don't feel that way. Or even if I said no, and then the court, sued me and all that stuff, if I wasn't making it, I would make them I would literally take a poop on the floor, take a picture, put it on a website and say, happy marriage. There's your website. You don't have to pay me for it. Do you know what I mean? But someone said regarding the gay cake, it was what the customer wanted on the cake that allowed the owner to say no. It wasn't just a normal cake or the fact that the customer was gay. It's what they wanted. Yes, because that's the language component. Same with the website. It wasn't the fact that it was a website for a gay couple. It was the fact that there was language. When you code a website, it's language. It literally is language. C++ or Java, that's what they are. They're computer languages. And that's your artistry. That's how hackers can tell other hackers because they can tell the language. And that's the successful argument that was made in the Supreme Court. And that's what they even said. They said it's their spin. And you can tell, and it is a language, and you can tell there's signatures in it. So you know that those people are the ones who wrote us or the ones who wrote it. And I firmly, and like I've said like 17 times already, and I said it with my wife, I believe, and I said it to my son because we're having the conversation with my son about it. I said, if there wasn't the coding, so say it wasn't a website and it was something tangible like a tape measure, right? Say they wanted to come in and buy a tape measure. And I said, well, I can't sell you this because I have a religious belief that what you're doing is wrong in your life. And they said, well, that means you're being prejudiced against me. And I still refuse to sell it. I believe if the case was that cut and dry, Supreme Court would have ruled for the gay couple. 100%. Do I think it's right? No. But do I understand it? Yes. Because you're not putting your language, you're not putting your spin, your personal touches on it. You know what I mean? So it's a different thing. But Virginia Johnson said that customer had to travel over 200 miles to find someone that wouldn't make one. And here's another thing. Because you also got to look at just the background of this case is very odd too. Because the gay couple, or at least the guy who is listed on the form that was submitted to the website designer, that person has come out publicly and said he never filled out that form. Yes, it was all his information, but he never filled out that form. And I want to say that he's a heterosexual married as well. I don't know about the last part, but I know there's already been reporting that he didn't put out that form. So either someone else put out that form or this lady put out that form herself in order to draw this conflict out. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know which one it was. Raylene said, what if a leftist baker didn't want to make a cake that says make America great again? But again, Raylene, that is a good point, except for the fact that make America great again isn't a religious view. You can't, they would have every right in the world to not make that cake because politics, personal politics, or political beliefs, they're not a protected class. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter what it says, as long as it's not religious. If it gets religious, do you believe that that leftist should be forced to bake you a cake? If you say yes, then you are a liberal. I'm just saying. Because in all reality, anyone, and you should applaud their decision not to do it if you believe in freedom of expression. If you believe that a business or an individual has the right to express themselves, then you should applaud a leftist decision not to bake a cake that says, like, in God we trust. You should. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think everybody would. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see this, if these signs go up, where people are like, no sales to Trump supporters, and then people get offended and try to call police or say they're not leaving. We've seen those things happen before. But I personally, if someone doesn't want to serve someone because they're wearing a Trump hat, that shit's already happened. We've seen videos where people get violently assaulted because they have a MAGA hat on in business. It's not a protected class. Anybody can come in my business and I could kick them out of my business if they're wearing like a Joe Biden, we love Joe Biden shirt. I could kick them out for that reason. Would I? No, because I don't care. Unless it came in there and we're trying to preach about Biden economics, and then I'd have to kick him out the door. You know what I mean? But that's the truth, And a lot of people have a hard time understanding it. And I believe a lot of people are having that hard time with the Twitter thing. A lot of people believe that Twitter is this town hall, right? Because that's what it's advertised as, this town hall. But it's not a public square. It's not public, meaning it's a private business. You can't, like, for example, here's the easiest way for me to put it into like layman's terms, right? Twitter has headquarters in San Francisco right now, as long as Elon Musk has paid the bill, the rent there. But at the last I knew, they had headquarters in San Francisco. Can you go into Twitter headquarters and just start shouting out, this dude clearly sounds like a terrorist, pay me or I blow up your supply chain, which was my tweet earlier about the Teamsters who sound like terrorists. Can I do that tweet in Twitter? And then would Twitter have the right to kick me out, to ask me to leave? For whatever reason, whatever I'm saying, say Twitter didn't like it. And would they have the right to kick me out of their headquarters? The answer is yes. They do have the right. So why do people, especially conservatives, believe they don't have the right to do that on the platform that they run online, which is Twitter? Twitter is a platform. They own the servers. They are paying the bandwidth. They are using it and allowing you to use their platform. And in exchange, if you don't pay for it, they're feeding you with ads or doing whatever they're doing. But you would believe that a business has the right to kick you out of their personal property or physical property. Why wouldn't you have the right to kick the person out of an online property? And a lot of people just say, well, it's the internet. The internet's free. Nobody owns the internet. But again, it's on the internet. It's like saying, okay, you come to my website and demand that I now, on Capacity Today, start writing about frogs. I don't have to because it's my website. Does that make sense? So Jeff said, as insane liberals are, I wouldn't want to eat anything that have been forced to make. Who knows what they do into the finished product? Yeah, but it's the same thing on the conservative side. You know what I mean? And I thought about that before too. I'm like, why would someone go as far to like sue? And all they did is they filed a complaint with the Colorado state. Colorado then sued the business owner. You got to understand, this Supreme Court case wasn't between this gay couple. Someone filed a complaint. I don't even know if it was them or an anonymous person filed a complaint with the state of Colorado, who then fined and charged this woman for breaking state law, which she then challenged all the way up to the Supreme Court. Someone said Twitter uses emergency alerts. We are paying for that. Someone said, I guess freedom of speech is fair. I think or I don't know if it was missing comments. I don't know. It's really interesting. But when I'm here on Twitter earlier today, and for one, I wasn't bogged down, but everybody was saying it was happened. And everybody was just so pissed off. Everybody was so pissed off, and they're like, oh, this is a violation of my First Amendment rights. Like Alexandria Marshall. I don't know. She follows me, apparently. I have no idea who she is. But isn't that weird? I just clicked on one link, random person with 60,000 followers, and it's like, she follows you. Okay. But anyway, she writes, this is the worst idea anyone has ever have. I've been on Twitter since the very beginning. Scrap this. It breaks everything about Twitter's decision. Let's just read some of these comments, because this just shows how unhinged people are. You know, the Chinese, who's this guy? China Daily. He comments, crazy. What's next? Jason Storm Chaser says, so I'm limited in what I can view, and you can also force suggested tweets on me, thereby further decreasing what I choose. Roz Alert said many Twitter users are concerned about the duration of this temporary limits and whether every tweet they see will be counted. If every tweet counts, it'll greatly affect engagement levels. Blue subscribers pay to increase engagement, but if most users aren't verified, fewer people will do. Someone said putting hard limits is Web 1.0 stuff. And I understand, like, if you have that blue check mark, I believe you have, I believe you have more of a valid complaint. I don't believe you have a valid complaint, but I believe you have more of a valid complaint because you're paying for the service. But if you do not have a blue check mark, but it seems like everyone that is commenting, oh yeah, because the blue check marks go to the top because they switched it. You know what I mean? But this is the message that apparently shows up. Like this Nashville Angela said, well, no more Twitter for me. Apparently I read too much because they saw it all. I can't even read replies. I don't understand why so many people are so concerned about this. You know, I just don't. So many people are, though. It's very weird. You know, it's very weird. I understand if you're a Twitter blue a person and you're out there trying to make engagement like it's your job, like that's what you do for a living. I get it for that, premise. Cat Turd replied, this is the most ridiculous idea I've ever seen on Twitter or seen on here. It's destroying Twitter. What would you rather have? You know what I mean? There was a really good link that I wanted to try to find, and I don't know where it went, but it was someone that was explaining exactly why this happened. And it was a very, very good, it was a long tweet, and I don't know where it went, but it broke down why this was happening and why Elon Musk was making this decision and why so many other big tech companies have done the same thing. Because again, the difference between this and virtually every other platform is all of the content that is out here, my public profile, your public profile, everybody's public profile is available to anybody without logging in. So all of the information that's on this platform is allowed to be downloaded. And what's happening is people are downloading this material, or computers or AI, they're downloading the material, which can then be used to target you with political ads. It could be used to vilify you. It could be used for, malicious actors to find out different things. They could download every single tweet you've ever made and analyze it and be fake. Do you know what I mean? And so him saying that he's doing it was an effort to stop that. So I'm scrolling to try to find that tweet. Unless one of you guys that are watching and on Twitter, if you can find that tweet, send it to me. So that way I can read that on air, because it provides pretty good. It provides a pretty good take on why this is all happening. And I don't know where it is, but it went into specifics. I'm scrolling like crazy. I'm going to hit my limit. Oh God. But there's some people that are logical and they're saying, okay, this makes sense. It makes sense. And other people are like, no, like here's one, Top Lobster, who's got 17,000 followers. I don't know. He said, I think Twitter should make a feature where verified can make tweets only available to other verified people, half the unverified. Am I right? Hey, I got that. I like that one. That's what people should do. If you're verified, only tweet to other verified people. which is kind of like the subscriber. That's a good idea. I would back that idea. And then Jake Shields, the MMA guy, says, I don't even think they deserve basic human rights. Speaking about people that are unverified on Twitter. That's kind of funny because you got people that are trolling it, the whole scenario too, which is funny, you know? But I figured that I would go live and talk about it for a little bit because I just think the amount of outrage that everybody has about this is crazy. It's so crazy. And speaking of crazy, why the fuck did Donald Trump have Lindsey Graham open his rally today? Can anybody explain that to me? Can anybody explain why Donald Trump, like, and a lot of people want us to like know or believe that Donald Trump is paying like 4G, G to chess, whatever that expression is, 4D, 5D chess, right? So you have a guy that stabbed you in the back, stabbed America in the back, that has a general distaste for America and is going out there and openly taunting other countries in an effort to get us to go into full-on battle against Russia. You have him introduce you to the South Carolina rally. How does that make any sense? It's almost as dumb as Donald Trump endorsing Dr. Oz, a Democrat. I just don't understand it. All of those things make me, I'll be honest, they make me question him even more because I'm like, listen, he's still the best candidate, mark my words on that. It hasn't changed who I'm going to vote for now, but it does make me say, what the fuck, dude? Like, we're just waiting for you to start using your head. Nanner said, I love that Donald Trump said he could count on Lindsey to get him Democrat voters. I don't know. It was stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Someone said he needs him to help him take South Carolina. I don't care. So if you do that, then what distinguishes, people, and I know people are going and defending Donald Trump for this decision, right? But if someone has actively worked against you, okay, as Lindsey Graham did for Donald Trump and actively worked against him, to then put that person on a pedestal in an effort to further you politically, what does that make you? I can tell you what it makes him. And you guys aren't going to like it. You're not going to like it. I'll tell you what it makes him, though. A politician. And that is the problem. That is the problem that I have with Donald Trump is more and more and more that I think about it, he is a politician. And I don't want to vote for politicians. I want to vote for Americans. I want to vote for someone that's going to take this country in the best possible direction it could be. And I see everybody saying he's keeping his enemies closer and stuff like that. I got you. I understand that argument. But I don't care. I don't know. Erica King said, Julie, I don't know why though. Align himself with a warmonger rhino that clearly doesn't like Trump. I know. Someone said, so he exposes himself in front of the people. But do you know Lindsey Graham has already exposed himself in front of the people? Do you know what I mean? Don said he's playing both sides against the other. No, he's not, really. He's not. And I think what the audience did today at that rally was great. I think it was great. They booed him for 3 minutes. Lindsey Graham. They just booed him. And then he quickly said, we have so many Purple Heart veterans from this town. They stopped booing. They cheered. As soon as the cheering was done, they started booing him again. How many of you guys noticed that? I thought that was fucking brilliant. That because he tried to say it to get them to boo veterans. That's the way I took it because it didn't follow along with his speech. And then he says it to talk about veterans, but the crowd was like, they were on top of it. And you could see the crowd behind him. They're like, boo, boo, yay, boo. It was good. Like, how many of you guys saw that? And then he says, God bless America. The crowd's like, boo, boo, yay, boo. That's what they did. It was kind of funny. Like, I took enjoyment when I was watching it, to be honest. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense for him to do it unless he's just a politician. Yes. Lindsey Graham. Didn't Lindsey Graham call Donald Trump a traitor? Wait, hold on. Let me see. I can't talk. Oh, I can't type say. Let me see. They called him. No, they were calling. They were yelling. Lindsey Graham heckled Trump supporters. Trump supporters called him traitor. There's a lot of articles about it, surprisingly. I don't see one that says he called Donald Trump a traitor. Someone said he was censured here. It was a crazy move to have him out. Didn't make sense. But he was there. Bad optics. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Graham calls it. I mean, here's one. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham forcefully disagreed with former President Donald Trump and saying he might pardon people convicted in the U.S. Capitol riot if reelected. Man, I know what they're doing, because the reason why he does that is because Donald Trump doesn't make it clear. Well, and he's since made it clear he wouldn't pardon anyone that committed acts of violence. He's talking about the people that took misdemeanor charges for standing on Capitol grounds that didn't even go into the Capitol, because there have been people do it. Erica King said, have you ever seen Graham gush about what a great a guy he is? Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've seen that video, but I think that isn't that an older video? Everybody, even Lou Dobbs, doesn't like Lindsey Graham. He's a shithead. But Michelle said, no way he didn't let Lindsey Graham open. Oh, he absolutely do. He absolutely did. You guys want to see the video? Watch, because it was pretty good. I won't play the whole thing, but I'll show you just a little bit, because yeah, I mean, Lindsey Graham is trending now. Let me see. Oh, come on, you fucker. Let me see. Yeah, so here's the video. Here's one of them. Hold on, let me put this up. He's not even up there yet. I'm gonna get copyrighted for having the music up.
Welcome to Pickens.
Yelling traitor at him.
Thank y'all for coming.
Look at.
Thank you.
She's like, much. Boo, boo, boo. Watch, you'll hear the quote about the veterans. Listen.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a bunch. Well, you want to find something in common? All right. Thank y'all.
He's like looking at his handlers.
Thank you all very much. Welcome to Pickens County. A little bit about this county. Just calm down for a second. I think you'll like this.
Listen.
Pickens County has more Medal of Honor winners per capita than any place in the nation.
They all start cheering.
In this county. I live 15 miles down the road.
And now they're booing again. Isn't that funny? But they literally booed his entire speech. This
tough.
Just booing at him, yelling at him. I don't know if this one catches it. Because finally at the end, he just like walks away. Here's Donald Trump's, because I didn't hear what Donald Trump had to say about it. So let's listen.
And again, Senator Lindsey Graham, who is really got, I'm going to have to work on these people. I'm going to have to. All right. He's there when you need him. He's there when you need him. I'm going to get him straightened up. Do you mind if I come here and campaign a little bit for you? I'll tell you what, he was one of my earliest endorsements right from the go, and I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it.
So stupid, dude. So stupid. It's so stupid. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it because he does not like Donald Trump. He's doing it because he knows he wants to get reelected and stay in his money, and keep making all the money. But my gosh, dude. RSBN chat went off about him too, someone said. Yeah, it's just crazy. I like the fact that people are telling Trump what they think about Graham. Yeah, I mean, I get that aspect of it. That's good. He doesn't actually have to face we the people. Mr. T seemed to like it too. He did. Mr. Trump did seem to find some level of enjoyment in it. He most certainly did. I mean, let's watch it just
Lindsey
again.
Graham, who is
Because he chuckles.
really I'm gonna have to work.
What's he say here?
To work on these people.
He just laughs.
All right.
He just laughs. And I'll be honest, because I didn't see this part. Because he's staring right at Lindsey Graham with a big ass smile on his face saying, "Jeez, do you think, wow, maybe this was some 4D chess, boys and girls." I don't know. Watching him just laughing while staring right at Lindsey Graham as the crowd boos him, that was pretty interesting because maybe it was a plan. Maybe he was telling Lindsey Graham, "I'm the one that's got the pants." I don't know. I doubt it. He probably needs Lindsey Graham's money because Lindsey Graham is sitting on a shit ton of money, and maybe he hopes that Lindsey Graham, with Lindsey Graham's support, maybe some of those other Republicans can move over, but that are against him. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. I still don't, for the life of me, I don't understand it. To me, this was just another example of him being a politician, that he transferred from just being, an American to an American politician. And now you're always going to be hyphenated to me, Donald Trump. I'm still voting for you because there's nobody better for us to vote for. But yeah, you're hyphened in my book. The Dr. Oz endorsement is when he was hyphened. The Lindsey Graham one's to be expected. You know what I mean? Someone said more of a PU-FU mic flogging, I think is what you meant to say. Yeah. A public mic flogging. Yeah, but I don't think that much thought into it. I think he was laughing. And I bet Lindsey Graham is pissed too. I bet Lindsey Graham right now is sitting in his rich ass house in South Carolina drinking whiskey, thinking about how he could fuck over more Americans while also being pissed about this, yelling at his wife to change his diaper. Like, it's probably what's going on in the Lindsey Graham household tonight. I don't really know. I can only assume that's what's going on. Crazy shit. This whole everything is just some crazy stuff. This whole day has just been some crazy whirlwind of a day. Guys, in the chat right now is this shirt that I made yesterday. I didn't sell enough of this shirt, and I need to. It is cancel your student debt crossed out, and then it has pay your bills in honor of yesterday's Supreme Court decision. Everybody should buy this. Look at it's made. You guys all wanted made in USA with the cotton and everything. This is made in USA through and through. So go over to the link that's in your chat. You could buy it. If you use code Independence, we have an Independence Day sale on all of our products this weekend. So all you have to do is use code word Independence and you get 20% off. That works on this shirt. It works on our Patriotic as F ammo can bundles. It works on all the coffee. Please order the whole bean coffee cans. The quantities are updated. So if it says we have it in stock, order it because we'll ship it out and go from there. But hopefully a lot of you guys do it. I have all of the coffee orders that of the past weeks and some that have been missing besides the new specialty coffee flavors. We haven't got those in yet or the hot chocolate, but I want to get rid of all these cans so we can start doing our new coffee can promotion. And then Mima's Homestead, if you are in here, send me a message, a DM on Twitter if you haven't already, because I would like to ask you questions about the insurance thing. If I could pick your brain about that for a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to go hang out. We've been watching this show on, I think it's on Amazon. It's called, I think it's called Jury Duty. It's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious. Christine Smith said, "Starry Steve, I've always believed in you, but don't disrespect the only president who stands for America." Christine Smith, you obviously always haven't believed in me if you're trying to dictate what I do and do not say on my show. Because, yeah, you've been here for a long time, but if you're going to try to tell me that I can't exert my opinion on why I believe Donald Trump is now a career politician, explain the Dr. Oz endorsement. He wanted to win. Dr. Oz wasn't best for the state of Pennsylvania. Kathy Barnett was way better of a candidate. She would have won if he endorsed her. He didn't. He endorsed Dr. Oz, and we lost to a fucking Frankenstein. And it doesn't make any sense. No matter how, look at Dr. Oz's track record. The guy was not a conservative at all. And the only reason he won the primary and booted out both of those other candidates that could have potentially won a second, was because Donald Trump endorsed Dr. Oz because he thought Dr. Oz would win. And so at that point, for me, I realized it was more about winning than it was about, status of America. And that's what pissed me off. And that's what caused me to start, thinking about it more. And I know a lot of people don't like it when I say that. But if you come to this channel thinking that I'm just going to be all over Donald Trump's balls, no, I'm not. I still think he would be the best person to lead America now because we don't have a candidate that I believe has a proper direction for this country to go. Do I believe he's the best ever? No, fuck no. Do I think he could potentially do something good in the White House that possibly won't be overshadowed by everything that they're going to throw at him? Yes. But if there was a candidate, say his son ran or something, or Donald Trump endorsed another candidate, would I be 100% happier? Yes, 100%, because then we're not going to be overshadowed. His accomplishments in the White House won't be, sure, the unemployment numbers are low now, but he also incited insurrection. They won't have that to do. They won't have anything about that to do. And that's my thing. I care more about America. Jay said, how can Christie say Trump is the only candidate that's for America? I don't know. But that's the truth. And Christine, you've been here a long time. So I'm not trying to, I attacked you a little bit on the comment, but if you think, well, your comment kind of made me do that. But if you think that I'm just going to cater, I care more about what's best for America in the long run, not the next 4 years. Let's be honest. Donald Trump gets elected again. We have a lame duck president. Anything he can accomplish in 4 years, if it doesn't get done in that 4 years, it's not going to get done. Because then we have another president that's going to come in that's probably going to overshadow everything he already did, just like Biden did. All of the good that Donald Trump did in office, Biden single-handedly on day one reversed 42 of his policies. How can you say that we want that again? But ultimately, maybe I'm back. Am I back? Okay. I just straight up lost internet. Christine said, you want to disrespect me? Well, look around. Christine, again, if you think I'm disrespecting you, then you're not using common sense. I'm not disrespecting you. What I'm saying is you can't tell someone else that their view is wrong. My view is that Donald Trump is a politician now. Still think he's the best for this country, but he's a politician. If you take offense to that, that's you. Grow some thicker skin, or just don't watch the show anymore. As long as you've been a viewer, if that's what is going to piss you off, then I don't know what's going on. You must have woke up on the wrong side of your bed today, because I've said far worse than that. But I believe Donald Trump is the best candidate that we have in the race now. I believe there's probably a better candidate out there, but they're not going to run for him because there's so many people that if Donald Trump loses the primary, they're not even going to vote. And you know that just as well as I do. And so the only thing we can do is unify the Conservative Party with the Republican Party, because those are two separate parties that, depending on what you believe. My view is that Donald Trump is trying to be back in that Republican Party. Christine said, I didn't say that, Steve, but you always believe what you want. You said, all right, but see, I have this little ability to pull up the chat on the screen. So, Christine, you said, quote, you want to disrespect me. Well, look around. That right there is your quote. You can see it on your screen just as well as I can. So while you say you didn't say that, you did. So, and then you said, convince me. I think I just did. So, and if that's not what you meant to say, well, that's what you said. So that's why you got the response you did. Anyway, so it said she'll realize she's going to be, she's being messed up. Go finish your bag of wine. Come back another day. No, I don't think I'm being mean either or being disrespectful. You know, because I could have said you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But that was nice. I could have said you woke up on the wrong side of the pig pen or something like that to be offensive. I wasn't trying to be offensive. But if you're trying to be offensive by saying that my views are not relevant when you're watching my show, it's just an odd thing. You know, it's just an odd thing. But in all reality, this is one of the reasons why I hate talking about politics, because it's so fractured. You know, it's so fractured that people are so close-minded, and I'm not saying that to be offensive, but they are. They're so close-minded they can't handle an opposing view. I can handle an opposing view. I literally talk about politics for a living. That's what I do. But when I say a different view, then people attack, and that's what's happening all over Twitter with all the Laura Loomers against DeSantis and all that stuff. Those people don't make me want to vote for either one of them. I don't even like them. You know what I mean? In all reality, the more I hear about anti-DeSantis, I'm like, I don't want to vote for that dude. The more I hear about anti-Trump from the DeSantis camp, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Christine Smith said, you want to debate, come east. I love you, Steve, but Trump cares about Americans. At no place did I say he doesn't care about Americans. So again, you're putting words in my mouth, inserting that I said something I didn't. What I just purely said is Donald Trump is a politician. And I believe he cares about winning, you know, and I believe the Dr. Oz endorsement, that was more about winning than it was about securing the Senate so we actually could hold a majority, you know. Christine, the only reason I've given her this much time is she is a longtime viewer. And to be honest, she spent a lot in the store and I respect her. So, and that's why it surprised me that she came out and said that, because she misunderstood what I said. I'm still voting for Donald Trump. I'm still voting for him because I believe that he, you know, if they're trying so hard to cancel his vision of what America should be, and the vision of America is what the Republicans want, which is war, and what the Democrat wants, which is socialism and communism, guess what? I'm going with Trump. And you're right. How further east does I need to go? I'm in Virginia. I'm literally here. I'm about as far east as you. You know what's next? The fucking ocean. I can't go any further east. But yeah, you know, I don't need common ground. I don't look for people to agree with me. Then Christy, if you thought that's what I was trying to do is get you to agree with me, I'm not. You know? I'm not. I'm trying to get you to understand my point of view. If you do get it, then good. If you don't get it, that's fine. You said, I don't put words in anyone's mouth. I believe in you and Trump. Hate the American people. Yeah, you hate the American government now. I don't hate the American government either. See, that's a weird comment too. I don't hate the American government. That's anti-American to hate the American government. You can be disappointed in it and where we're leading as a country. To say you hate the American government means you're anti-American. I mean, wouldn't anybody else agree? You could hate different departments and think they're mismanaged and should be defunded and all that stuff. But to, in totality, say you hate the American government, what separates you from the people that chant death to the USA in Iran and or Afghanistan and all that stuff? What differentiates you? Because when I just read, I hate the American government in your chat, it made my blood boil real quick. And I thought about booting you because that's anti-American. And you may not like that, but maybe you should stop commenting, or maybe I should just leave and just end my day and go have fun with my family, because that shit just pissed me off. Jeff said, is it true coffee can open minds? I already know coffee can. Yeah, it does. Yeah, coffee makes beautiful. It makes men beautiful and women beautiful. Whatever you just said. Yes, I get it. Ken made a good comment. He said, But he said, where'd it go? He, of course, he cares about America. It's going to come down to how many people can see the good he could do and those who just don't want the baggage. He will win the primaries probably, but the baggage he brings might be a different story in the general. Yes, that's true. Mr. PFF Flyer said, I do hate one thing, fire ants. I was just talking about fire ants in Florida. The house we used to live in Florida, we rented it. We didn't own it. It sold when we moved out for $270,000. So that was in 2022, right? No, that must have been it. Oh yeah. So maybe she held on. No, it sold in 2021 for, 275,000, which was, she made a boatload of money off of it. And then guess what? You want to hear the craziest shit? It just sold again. $350,000. Holy shit. They didn't do anything to the house at all. I looked at the pictures on the listing. Same fucking house as when we moved in. Stains on the carpet and everything. 350. Like, the Florida real estate market is insane. But we were talking about fire ants because we liked that house. It was huge. And I was like, I wonder how much money or how much of a house we can get in Florida right now. Because we're having the problem if we're trying to look for a house here in Frederick County where we can't, because the houses are 400, 500,000. And it's not like it was 2 years ago. I don't have an extra $100,000 lying around in cash. So it's crazy. Christine said, sorry, Steve. I seem to make everyone feel bad. I do respect you. That's good. I appreciate you. And then you said, dislike the, that wasn't you. You said, you going to read this? I have always respected you, and now I look like an idiot. Yeah, I read your comments. I don't think you look like an idiot. I think you just said something that you didn't think before you typed, which is harder than not thinking before you speak. I'm guilty of not thinking before I speak several times because I talk. But literally, when you type it out, that means you're cognitively thinking about what you're going to typing. So therefore, you can't say you didn't think before you typed. So it kind of negates that whole argument. So maybe just think a little bit longer. I'm just kidding. You're fine. You're fine. Anyway, that's it. I want to give a shout out to Erica. Erica just did a $5 Venmo. She called it the $5 challenge, but I don't. She's probably going to be the only $5 challenge we have because it's dried up quite a bit. People have stopped contributing. Times are tough for everybody, and it's easier for them to spend an hour watching it and not support the show than it is for you to spend an hour watching it and then just click 2 buttons on your phone. See what I'm saying? I'm trying to do the guilt trip. Is it working? Is the guilt trip working? Seriously, if you guys do want to support the show, you can do the link tree. It's in your chat right now. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, right there. You literally just have to click 2 buttons. It's that easy. And then you can send like $500. I have to say it. You know what I mean? I'm 39. I'm getting old. Got to do what you got to do. But if you can, Sonny, we actually looked at houses in San Diego today. I could not believe how expensive San Diego, Long Beach, like all those areas. Not that we would ever move there. Someone said, I would give you money, but my family disagrees with me. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Christine. I don't know. Michael with a $5. Michael accepted your challenge with a $5. Oh snap, it's the Dave. Said you're 37 today. Happy birthday, bro. And what else? Florida. Oh yeah, the San Diego. We looked at Long Beach too. I couldn't believe, like, 2-bedroom house that was 800 square feet that looked like a fucking trailer, like really bad, $799,000. And I think that was in Long Beach. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what I would like to find, if anyone's familiar with like Jensen Beach, Florida, I would like to find like Jensen Beach in Virginia or in North Carolina. And that's about as far south as I would ever go. And we wouldn't be moving there anytime soon. Maybe like 10 years when the kids are done with school, right? He's in 3rd grade, 10 years. That's when I would like. Someone said, no, Michael, it's Mike. Oh, sorry. Mike, send another one, like a $20 one this time, and then I'll say it correctly. You know? But I was thinking Live on Patrol was going to be on last night. It's not. Christine said, when I can afford it, I will donate to you. I don't care what my family says. Thank you. Mike said Jensen Beach is expensive. It never used to be, though. When we flirt first, before we had kids, we lived in Florida, right? And we lived in Jensen Beach first. We paid $600 a month. Sarah with a $5 Venmo. Thank you so much. We lived in Jensen Beach. We paid $600 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And then we moved. Then we found out we were having a kid. So we moved from Jensen Beach to Port St. Lucie, got a 3-bedroom house, right, for $900 a month. Insane. Then we realized that we had no familia in Florida and we wanted support. It was our first kid. We were freaking out. So we moved to Jersey and then, started paying entirely too much. By the time we finally moved back to Florida after we had both kids and I moved down there for work, that's the whole reason we moved to Florida, is because I accepted a job with a logistics company and it fucking didn't work out after 6 weeks. They're like, oh yeah, you get your own office, company car and all that. I was like, sick. They're like, we'll pay for your relocation. I'm like, sick. I get there. It's a room about this big with 6 people in it. And they're like, there's your desk. And I'm like, what? I can't make phone calls. And, I was the director of operations for their owner op division. I'm like, I can't do that with 7 other people yelling in different languages. Can't do it. But yeah. And then, so we moved to Florida, but we started at $1,400 a month for that house. And then by the time we moved out, like 3 years later, it was $1,600 a month, But that house, I remember when we first lived in Florida, the house that we rented in Port St. Lucie the first time before we had kids, that guy bought it for $34,000. I'm like, damn, we really fucked up, didn't we? We talked about that after we bought this house. We're like, we should have did this shit way sooner. What were we thinking? Because we could have. We just never did. And so we just wasted 16 years of rent money. So stupid. But my brother kind of lives in the Midwest and he's been bugging me to go out there. I would, but again, I'm not gonna downsize from this house. This house is already small. It's already trying our patience. So I'm not going to a smaller house than this. What I want to do is find like our retirement house, because the way I talk about it is by then I'll be working. By then someone else is going to be working, or my wife will be working. I'll be teaching, she'll be teaching, or I'll be in law school, one or the other, and or a politician, who knows. But then we can just like pseudo retire. The kids will be gone, so we could buy a little house on the beach. I don't go to the beach, but I like the smell of the ocean and the sound of the ocean. But I don't like going out and getting sand in between my toes and getting sunburned. I hate all that shit. So yeah, that's it. Someday. But probably what we'll end up doing is when we get our financial stuff in order, we'll just start driving down. How there's like US 1 in California? I'm assuming there's like US 100 on the East Coast where we could just drive down the coastline. You know what I mean? There's got to be something somewhere. Hell yeah, James. You're a top donation right now with a $10 Venmo. Thank you, bro. Mr. PF Flyers and Steve, be my lawyer if I ever need one again. No, I'm still going for education. I'm just trying to find the best course of action and the cheapest course of action to go, because unlike all these some bitches, I have to pay for my school. So I'm trying to find, because they go off your tax returns from 2 years ago. It was a whole different scenario. So I'm like, fucked. So I don't qualify for shit. Live on Patrol was on, but on Patrol Live was not live yesterday, and it's not going to be live today, which is stupid. You would think 4th of July weekend they would have been live. But yeah, no, that's still the plan. What I may do, I've been well, I'm not saying shit, but there's another interesting thing I'm thinking about doing in addition to everything else I already do with the coffee and the capacity today and everything. It's pretty good, but we'll talk about that later. Guys, if you do want to support the show, I'll say it again, Maybe you can click it on your way out. Even $5. Even if 20 of you guys do $5, I make $100 for staying live for an hour and 13 minutes. It's not too bad. And if you had fun, if you like this show, just consider doing it. $5, $10, $100, $2,500. You know, if I get $2,500, I don't even need to say shit for the next month. You know what I mean? But if you do want to support the show, you can do that and prove to me that you do value the show. If you can't do it, I completely understand. Just share the video out. And if you don't like the show and you're like, fuck it, I can't wait till Steve runs out of money so he can't do the show. Soon, bro. No, I'm just kidding. That shit will never happen. I'll just do it from a tent. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, we'll see you all later. Bye.